So this video is kind of self-explanatory, right? But I still don't know if that's what I should go with, you know? The company. I'm trying to remember. What's the company's name? I'm trying to remember. Can't quite remember.
Guys, we're with Turbolamik US. Kind of give us a rundown of who you are. Who is Turbolamik and what is it?
So I am Greg, and I distribute Turbolamik products in North America and South America and throughout Caribbean. Turbolamik is a Polish company that's been on the market for over 10 years. They started with the 6-speed gearboxes, just basically a couple smart guys trying to figure out how they can go fast without spending a ton of money on sequentials. So they first developed 6-speed controls for 6 speeds HPs. Sorry, mouthful. And then eventually they, when the 8 speeds were released, they continue. So 10 plus years later, what we have is a full standalone gearbox controller for the ZF 8HP, which is a very robust and very popular gearbox found in many cars on the road, from obviously all the BMWs and all the fast Mopar cars, but Land Rover Jeeps, Aston Martins, Jaguars, and pretty much all the European cars have a ZF. ZF is a huge German company, obviously known very well for their manual gearboxes and like industrial equipment, but their 8HPs is probably one of the best automatic gearboxes ever made.
So, I personally have been running the ISF trans, that I'm now transitioning into the 8HP. Now, when someone hears 8HP, that is a very generic way of speaking about it because there's many different 8HP transmissions.
Correct.
Which ones does the TCU Lamik work with? Is there specific ones? Are there ones you recommend better than others?
Absolutely all of them. If it's a ZF 8-speed, we can control it. And so to answer your question, which ones are better, which depends what you do. If you have a street car, 500, 600 horsepower, you're not doing any drifting or clutch kicking, 8HP 50, which is their small frame gearbox, would be fine. You know, for people, you know, large horsepower or large torque, you know, your popular choice would be 8HP 70 or 75. Race car coming. So 70 and 75 and 76 are their mid-frame gearboxes, very capable. Those are found on, you know, like in US, the most popular would be all the Mopar Chargers Challengers, and like top-of-the-line BMWs, you know, like M3s, M4, X3Ms, etc. These are in their stock form capable of holding almost 1,000 foot-pounds. We have several customers running very high numbers, and it's their mid-frame size. There's 90 and 95, which would like a Hellcat have. Those are very powerful, but they're also bigger, so it depends on your application. Yeah. For drifting, we always recommend 70, 75. For drag racing, you know, you're probably gonna do a 70, 75, but you know, a build 51, like for example A90 MK4 Supra class would be, you know, we have the world's quickest and fastest two A90 Supras. They're still on the factory 8HP 51, which is their small frame gearbox, but these obviously are strengthened and got billet parts.
That's pretty impressive.
Yes. Yeah, so here what we have is a Turbolamik TCU. This is the brains of the operation. This will control the gearbox, but it will also talk to your ECU. That includes all the aftermarket, you know, main brands, Haltex, Motex, Lynx, all of them. But it will also talk to your factory DME. So if you have a newer BMW, we can talk to factory DME and take over the gearbox control. This is a factory mechatronic. So if you take the valve body out and then you open this is a factory TCU. What we do with that is we literally rip it out, then we have this low PCB board that goes in here. You solder the joints, and then that directs all the connections from the solenoids externally. It gives us connection to the front and rear speed sensor, temp sensor, and then once you're done, you use a high temp silicone, you seal it, you put it back in, and that is what allows us to take full control of the gearbox, and that's why that's what allows us to have all the advanced features like the proper motorsport grade trans brake, the clutch, and everything else. And with this kit, if you were to buy the kit, the electronics, you will get the board that goes inside the box, you will get the TCU, and the choice of the wiring harnesses. We have several wiring harnesses available. This would be the most popular. That's just a universal can wire harness. So you have the connector that goes to the TCU. This goes to the gearbox. There's a shifter connection. So this is a BMW style connector. Mark 5 Supra would have the same shifter. And the rest of the wires are things like CAN bus, brake signal, power. That's pretty much all that's needed. Just power, ground, CAN bus, and brake signal. This, for example, is for a BMW F-Series wiring loom. So BMW F-Series would be the easiest installation ever. So you put the new mechatronics or modified mechatronics inside, and you plug it in, just same plug as, like, for example, Reflex would plug in, and you're done. That's it. Full integration, full CAN communication. You can scan the car with ISTAs, INPAS, whatever you use, and there will be no error codes. Shifter will work, dash will work, pedals will work. Your dash will show this. The gears and everything else. With our controller, you're not required to run the shifter that comes with the car. You literally have a choice of any shifters you want. So you can run like an F-Series shifter or like this M5 style shifter, sequential.
That to me is very cool.
This is a favorite choice because this is a sequential that you would find like on a simulator, but it's just a very satisfying front and back click. You can run a CAN keypad if you don't want anything. People with classic cars can run a column shifter if they really want to have like a very clean look. So for the column shifter, at the end of the cable, you would get like a Haltech linear sensor, and then we define, your park is this voltage, your first gear is this voltage, and so on and so on. So we have great flexibility in terms of shifters. Obviously, paddle shifters are always supported, so you can literally have just paddle shifters. And if you're probably wondering what it takes to put in reverse. So reverse is 2 clicks, downshift, and if you want to do park, you just hold it for a second, downshift, and it will put you in park. So typical kit comes like that, and a choice of harness will give you all the electronics that are needed. And what else? I don't know what else.
I want to talk about the simulation of a clutch.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is the adaptive here. So you can turn your converter automatic into a quote-unquote manual.
Yeah, so this is the part that people have the hardest time understanding. How can you have a clutch on a torque converter based automatic transmission? And you have to remember, this is not your grandpa's automatic transmission. These are the most advanced automatic gearboxes that were ever made. So within the gearbox, there's clutches and there is brakes. So even though ZF never intended for clutches to be used like a clutch, we have the ability to open up those clutches. Basically think drive-by-wire throttle, but for clutch. So this is a simulated clutch. You mount your pedal, and this is nothing but a slave cylinder with a spring. You bleed it like you would bleed a normal clutch, and at the end of this, you would put a pressure sensor. We read that 0 to 5 volt signal from the pressure sensor, and it's not an on-off switch. It's a full linear clutch, so you can slip, that you can do burnouts with, and that's why drifters love it, because they can clutch kick, 5th, 6th gear, and very durable because it's a multi-disc wet clutch like on a motorcycle. So they get cold and they're very durable. There's other ways you can do it. You can literally put a spring on the clutch pedal and again use the Haltech linear sensor. Endless possibilities there. As even we have customers even use TPS sensors. All we care is about knowing whether the clutch is pressed in or not and which position during the stroke it is, and that's how we calculate the clutch engagement.
This is awesome. Thank you so much. Where can they check out the product?
Turbolamik US is the website, also Instagram and all the other social media. If you want to go fast, Turbolamik is the way to go. I know everybody loves manuals, but it's 2025, and just look at what we do in the drag world. World's fastest, quickest Supra. Mike from EOC. So we have a track-proven record. We are the only full proper standalone with all the advanced features.
Thank you so much. Again,
absolutely.
Turbolamik.us.
Yeah.
So this is the most ideal situation here. The little magnet for it, I have no idea what to do with it, but I lost it. So yeah, so I'm switching to an 8HP. Why am I switching to an 8HP? So we've been doing the 8080 now for a little over a year with Tuned by Sean. We've gone over all these iterations. We spent so much time And it's close. Like I said, I drive it all the time. I just drove it the other day. Car's fantastic. It's just not perfect. And realistically, at the end of the day, it's me testing along with Sean, and that's it. And there is a lot to go into it. There is a lot with the solenoids, pulsing them, getting it right, and getting this perfect way for it to shift down low. And we're honestly just at that point, like, how much more time are we going to spend on this? We feel like we're close, and every time then we kind of get knocked back. You know, we make one step forward and then 2 steps back. And after a while, it just becomes, you know, just too tedious. I still think it's a great platform. I still think if someone really has that time to keep going forward with it, I hope Sean continues with it. I know he's kind of like flatlined with it. We've kind of moved on to other things too. Yeah, it's a shame. I really do like the transmission. I like the way it fits. It's an ISO transmission. I've proven that, you know, it'll take 800 horsepower all day long. You know, that's a stock engine car. But I mean, you saw the videos. I beat the dog crap out of it. Well, I'll flip one up here, so you guys can see, like, it does take it. But that being said, 8HP just does it better. You guys saw everything that Greg said there. It does everything better, easier. You know, everyone out there can build them. They're just plentiful. You know, this 8-speed transmission really came on the ISF and RCF, and even those are slightly different. The LC500 had the 10-speed version, so you have to make sure you get the right one. Yeah, so that's pretty much what it breaks down to, guys. So this is going to start the 8HP project, and it's going to be using a company that I've worked with a lot. Don't want to mention them quite yet because I don't know if they want me divulging details quite yet. But they're going to be building a adapter setup that's a full bell housing setup. It's going to be 100% bolt-in. So we'll be doing testing on that here soon with Turbolamik, of course, and then continue to use the Nexus R5 with it. So we'll be using a multitude of parts here to make this all work, and I'll make a step-by-step video within reason to get this in, and then hopefully, you know, some of you guys want to drop your cars off too. Like I said, Frank's car here is just about done. We've got a little bit more to go. Literally, it just comes down to parts. I should fire it up here Tuesday, and you guys will be seeing a video on that too. But yeah, if you guys need any work done, just remember, I'm open. Get a hold of me. Go to purefunctionsales@outlook.com. And yeah, shoot me an email. All right, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace. All right. Now I got to start taking this thing fucking apart. Lovely.